the government's setting their own targets for air quality and they're not meeting them. So they've got to do something.
Yeah, sure.
And transport, like we know, is, one of the main polluters, and it's still getting worse.
Welcome to the Swifty Podcast, inspiring positive change through design, innovation and technology.
Hello and welcome back to the Swifty Podcast. Today we're going to talk about a few events that we've been doing recently. We've been busy here, there and everywhere, and we've got some exciting ones coming up as well.
Yeah, you've been away for a few weeks, haven't you?
I know. We've had some cool guests. I've been sidelined.
I've missed you. It's good to have you back. It's just us. I love it when it's just us. We just have a chat. There's no pressure. So some of the guests who we had was, it's proper interview style, so it's way more kind of pressured. And
fine.
Yeah.
They do all the talking.
Yeah, kind of. But it's it's way easier talking to you. Way more fun. So thanks. Anyway, we've got loads of events that we've been to. We've been really busy, and we've booked some new events. So we thought we'd talk about that and just talk about also the connected scooters, which we'll go into towards the end. So should we start with Venturefest?
Yeah, just quickly run through the events.
Yes, so this week we were at an event called Venturefest, which is here in Manchester. It's an opportunity for entrepreneurs and new companies that are looking for investment to pitch. And we were there exhibiting. We were invited to go and set up a stand, and we did, which was great. It was
just for people in the North West, companies around Manchester area.
Yeah, and it's been going for probably about 4 or 5 years, I think. Venturefest. We actually came second place about 2 years ago.
It's changed a little bit, but when we did it, it was like a competition.
Yeah,
and
you pitch in front of the audience.
Pitching to like a public audience, and then we came second.
Yeah,
which doesn't really mean much.
Hey, second's good. We beat everybody else.
Yeah.
We only just
got prizes.
We only just got beat by the first place winner as well. So it wasn't. We weren't that far off. Damn it. Anyway, so Venturefest this year was really surprising. It was right in the centre of town, in the GMEX, which is a huge exhibition centre. And it wasn't in the main hall, it was just next door to it. I've never actually been in there before, but it was a really big show, and there's loads of companies there, and a really good display of innovation and exciting new tech. And we were probably one of the only companies there that had physical kind of product. There was other stuff that was physical product, but in terms of like an end kind of
consumer goods
thing that you can touch, feel, see, look at. Everything else was kind of like either an app or a service or something like that. So
we had the SwiftyCARBON there, didn't we? And it was really well received.
Yeah. People really.
Yeah. So, and a few people came to say hello, didn't they? So
yeah, that was really cool. Yeah.
Thanks for coming along.
We had a couple of our Seedrs investors come along and say hello. So that was nice to see them in person and say thanks for the support, which was cool. And just old friends, old faces that we know through the business community here in Manchester. So it was nice. Also, NatWest Bank were there, and it was great. We bank with NatWest, and I met a bank manager, which was cool. You don't meet bank managers anymore. So they're making a big push to support small businesses as well, like us. And it was good. So I had a good day there. We posted on Instagram, so you probably saw that. And people had a little ride around.
And a little chat about the carbon again.
Yep.
We've just written a blog about Venturefest today as well, just to explain how the carbon was really well received and just people trying out and experience the lightweight of the carbon scooter.
It's kind of unbelievable when you pick it up.
Yeah, and the disc brakes are just, they work so well, don't they? So
they just look cool.
We've also had people discussing the carbon on a forum. It's an American kick scootering website called Let's Kick Scoot, and they do forums about different products and things. And someone did a really nice post about how revolutionary it was to have a carbon fibre folding scooter. And yeah, that was really nice to hear, so thanks. Can't remember your name. Somebody wrote it.
Do you think anyone's ever done a folding carbon scooter before? It's never really been done right. I think
Not with big wheels.
I don't think I've seen anything.
There are some electric ones made of carbon fibre now.
Well, then again, if you take folding as a concept, like we are like the only proper folding company. I mean, there's plenty that the stem will fold, but not like...
Or small wheels. So if you want decent wheels and foldability, really that's where Swifty comes into its own, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's hard to do, very difficult.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's not go into a product.
Sorry.
Kind of
next event. What's coming up?
Session. What's next? So we are going to be at the Smart City Summit this December. So from the 2nd to the 3rd, it's a 2-day event at the Business Design Centre in Islington in central London. Beautiful building in there. I really love exhibiting. Oh, actually, that's a great one.
What is it?
Swifty's coming home. That's where I showed the very first prototype many, 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 many years ago.
No, it isn't.
It is.
That was at 100% design.
Yeah, the project that I did at university when I did it wasn't the same as Swifty, but it was a scooter and it was somewhat folding, and I exhibited at the Business Design Centre. Wow, we used to call it the Hall of Broken Dreams.
Hopefully not next week. Hopefully all our dreams will come true.
I should explain that. So there used to be a show called New Designers. I don't even know whether it's there anymore, but all the product design courses would exhibit there after they graduate. And there was a huge emphasis on, you're going to publicly show your projects and you'll get a job out of it. And so what I mean by the Hall of Broken Dreams, it was actually not me that named it that. It was actually one of my tutors, because he exhibited there every year and he always referred to it as that because everyone got so excited about I'm going to get a job, and you can see it. There's that kind of like when you do your final year project and you're just exhausted, and then you do New Designers and you're still exhausted. London. Yeah, and then there's all this pressure to get a job, and you just see all of these 20-something-year-olds.
It's so competitive, isn't it?
Yeah, and hence why it's the Hall of Broken Dreams, because those final hours come and you just see this nervousness. Do you remember going around it and post, graduating and everything, and when we were looking for possible placement students, I remember going around and there was just this energy of. Here's my card. Please employ me. Keen
beans.
Yep. We like keen beans. Keen beans are good. So we're going to be at the Smart City Summit, and it's a new show, and there doesn't seem to be any stopping. There doesn't seem to be any end to the amount of micromobility trade shows that are popping up. They seem to be everywhere now.
And experts.
Micromobility experts everywhere.
Consultants.
Advertising to us on LinkedIn. Oh, right. So you're a consultant expert. What's your background? Yes. Nothing. Anyway. So
Friday.
It's Friday. It is Friday, isn't it? I think this cold weather's
getting
making us going a bit loopy. So there's going to be loads of really cool micromobility companies there, and I've been invited onto a panel to discuss. The subject is tackling congestion with boosting micromobility using e-scooters and e-bikes. That's a bit of a mouthful to say, but it's going to be around this whole topic of how do we get the air cleaner and how do we reduce congestion and the dependence on fossil fueled vehicles in general.
And as people are aware, e-scooters are not legal in the UK. and particularly in London, where police seem to be cracking down on them. However, people are riding them. So this is a topic that the Department for Transport are hopefully looking into.
Well,
and I think that they'll be there at the show, hopefully, and it'd be interesting to have those conversations.
Yeah, so I think there's probably enough time between now and when this podcast goes out, and we do get quite good feedback and interaction with our viewers. So if you've got any questions or you've got any comments, then it'd be good to hear those, see what you think, and I can take them on board and maybe discuss them during the panel. So it's going to be 2 days. We're going to be there. I think the panel discussion, there are loads of panel discussions. So there's loads of interesting subjects and loads of really interesting people that are coming. Actually, you are right. The Department of Transport are actually going. Yeah. I think they're on one of the panels.
I think it would be important to add into the discussion about just kick scooters, don't you? Even though it's not
active scooters, yeah, because it seems to be so everyone's just talking about electric scooters and no one's really talking about active and how good active is. So yeah, we're definitely going to be bringing that back up, and that's something that ties into a thought I had when you were just saying then. Electric scooters are not necessarily permitted, and the law is kind of needs updating. And you also said that the police are going out and they are, are fining people. Power. Where did that power come from? They are fining people, and what I have recognised, and this was something that I recognised in that trade show, and that's because there's been quite a bit of press about what's happening in London with all of the scooters. What it's done is it's created like a general public perception, and that perception everybody naturally gravitates to straight away, and that's, oh, they're illegal. And this is the number one comment now. So I don't want to go on about it again, but we always, we do mention this quite a lot, but we do get comments online on Facebook, and there is this kind of general public perception just because of that little bit of press that's happened recently, and now everybody just says, regardless of whether we're talking about an active or an electric, to say, oh, they're illegal, you can't ride them. Yeah. And this is like this general awareness, which is a real shame, isn't it? That's what that bit of press has done.
And I think it's important to add that if you are riding an electric scooter and you do get stopped by police, they could offer a fixed penalty notice, which is £35, unless you're riding dangerously, which they could charge you with something else, which is a bigger fine. So basically, points, right? What we advocate always is just to scoot safely and conscientiously, and pedestrians obviously have to have priority everywhere. Yeah. But on the note about kick scooters, I think it's important that we bring it up at the summit because I have been, for years now, I've been trying to get a bit more clarity on the law around kick scooters. And one of our best read blogs is about the law around kick scooters on pavements. And it's still definitely a grey area. And my response from the Department for Transport was just muddled. He couldn't tell me basically what the law is.
Well, it's they're kind of they're protecting themselves with their answer, aren't they? They're making sure that they don't put themselves into a corner and say something where it could be brought up. So I kind of get it. I think what you said before is really important, and we need to get more of this message out of there. And that's that. Where has the common sense gone? Yeah. Where has the just adult common sense gone? If you are riding a scooter and you mow into someone, you deserve to have the full letter of the law thrown at you. If you hurt someone, regardless of it's a scooter, a bike, whatever it is, then you're in the wrong. And most decent, law-abiding adult citizens understand that. And I think I find it quite strange when, you see online, you see comments at trade shows and people just say, oh, they're illegal straight away. Mm-hmm. And it's like, where's your common sense gone? Like, why do we jump to this conclusion when, it's like common sense in relation to the same person is a pro supporter of we need to get our air cleaner. Mm-hmm. The same person is a pro supporter of we need to reduce congestion.
Yeah, so riding a scooter is hardly criminality, is it?
Yeah, and that's a little bit of what I'm saying. My frustration is it's like it's some kind of like
people get a bit emotional.
It's emotional. It's also kind of like do you think it's a little bit like because I've seen it in the press, it's kind of like it's like a way of kind of like fluffing your feathers. I don't know an eloquent way to say it, but because it's like common knowledge, or it's like kicking something
people
when
like
it's
to check
down,
that we know the law, don't they? People like to check.
But it's
you know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's kind of like trying to put you back in your place, and it's like a bit of a cheap shot, and it's like a little bit like, well, didn't you know that's illegal, and you're a bad person for doing what you're doing. Where, if you look at it from the other way around and you look at the millions of miles that our users have experienced on their scooters.
Yeah. And also a lot of them are replacing car journeys.
Yeah.
And that statistics is difficult to measure.
Yeah.
But I do ask my customers and they absolutely say, yeah, I want to reduce my car journeys because, we all need to.
Well, we had a customer this week who
and
emailed
they are
in.
using their scooters.
Do you remember the customer this week, the 65-year-old?
Oh, yeah.
And he is it he or she? I think it's a he.
Yeah.
A gentleman, and he has he sold his car because
after a heart attack.
After a heart attack, is it a triple heart bypass he had? Oh my goodness, triple heart bypass. Sold his car. He's now scooting. Lost a stone in weight.
Yeah.
Feeling better than ever, and just loving it.
Yeah. Using the bus sometimes, but that's okay with the folding scooter.
But isn't that amazing? There's someone has sold their car. I mean, that's
and leading a healthier life,
Yeah, after something so major. I mean, a triple heart bypass. That's like where they replace 3 of your arteries. Is that right? I think so. I think a heart bypass is where like the artery or the valve is snookered, and so they bypass that valve with a new one. I'm probably butchering this. I don't know. I'm just guessing, totally guessing. But whatever it is, it sounds major, right?
It is major.
Yeah, for sure.
So he was very poorly, and now he's, on the road to recovery, which is really great.
It's amazing.
Hear.
Yeah.
So, hopefully we're going to see some really insightful debates at the summit, and you can get tickets. Do we have any free tickets for the summit?
I think we have a bunch of free tickets. So if you want one, get in touch and we'll do our best to get you in.
2nd and 3rd of December in central London.
I don't think it's very much anyway. It's like £15 or something, £20 on the door or something. So if you arrive late, and don't message me on the day, I'm going to be busy on the day. But so I'm caveating that gesture of goodwill.
Email in beforehand.
Yes, please. Okay.
Right. Next event. What's happening?
Right.
January.
So in January, we've got Christmas. And then in January, I am flying out to Las Vegas, baby. My favorite place in the world. Not really. For CES, so the Consumer Electronics Show. And it's a huge electronics show, and we will be there, which is cool. And the reason why we are there is because the Department for International Trade, they are having an export mission, trade mission, they're doing a trade mission to the show. So basically, there's going to be something called the British Pavilion. It's similar to like how we exhibited at the Frankfurt Motor Show. And on the British Pavilion will be a big stand, and it will have lots of British companies. And we are one of those British companies. So we're going to exhibit there on the British Pavilion. And we'll be there from the 7th to the 10th. I think it's in Mandalay Bay. And the reason why I said Las Vegas is my favorite place, not really, is because I used to go every year for Interbike, which is the big bike trade show, which doesn't exist anymore. They've cancelled it. So I'll be back in Las Vegas, and it should be really...
Why don't you like Vegas? I know why.
Well, I don't.
Because you can't walk anywhere. Or scoot.
Well, you can walk. It's just you have to walk everywhere, and I find the whole kind of weirdness around American roads, the way you can't cross the road. You have to go. I find it really restricting and really strange in the way you have to walk through like several casinos to get back to your hotel. Just really annoying. And yeah, it's not easy. You can scoot around there. I have scooted around, but it's
hard to cross the road.
It's very it's very pro car. It's like you jump in a taxi and go up the up to downtown or wherever it is that you're going. I did actually scoot there one year, and what I did was I forgot my camera charger. And it's when I got the camera that we're filming on now, actually. I literally just got it before we were going, and I left my charger charging here in the workshop. I remember getting to Vegas, getting all my camera stuff out. I was like, oh no, where's my charger? And the battery as well. So I had one battery and no charger. And I was like, right, I got to find a camera shop. Got out my phone, checked out a camera. Oh, yeah, it's not too far. It's like 8 miles away. And I emailed them, or did I call them and ask them? And they were like, yeah, we've got one in, no problem. And I went at midday, and this was like end of August, September, and it was super hot, and I totally got burnt and exhausted because it was pretty much, 30-something degrees, and I took no water with me, and I got to this camera shop, and the lady was laughing because I was so tired and sweaty.
Needed the electric scooter.
Yeah, that would have been great. But what was really confusing was like it was quite out of town, and what was really confusing is that like when you cross over the road using the crossing, you can't cross back the same way. It's like you can only cross over in one way. So I got kind of really confused because I couldn't get back over the road.
Weird.
And like there's the main like there's a really fast freeway that goes from, I think it's east to west or north to south. I don't know. And it's like an upper level, and it's really fast. And it's like mega lanes. It's American style, like I don't know, 6 lanes or something. And so you have to go underneath that as you're crossing over to the other side of where this camera shop was. And so the way that I crossed over and went like in this one direction, I then couldn't get back the same way. And then I literally couldn't get over there, and I had to go like really far around the other way and go back up, and I was just like, oh, this is so stupid. I just want to get there.
I just want to take a photo.
Yeah. So anyway, what am I rambling on about? And then I got kicked off the car park. So I got up really early in the morning, and I wanted to do a time lapse of the sun rising, and I got up there and I pressed record. I was recording for like 20 minutes, and the sun was just come up, and then the security guards came up and they were like, "What are you doing, sir?" And I'm like, "I'm just doing a time lapse of the sun. Look, it's beautiful." And they were like, "You've got to leave." And I was like, "But I need like 20 more minutes, please." And they were like, "No, leave." And I was like, "Damn it." So it wasn't a good experience, but it's not.
How did it come out? It's just like this.
Yeah, it was like
1 second video.
Yeah, it was rubbish. So I've not used it. But no, honestly, apart from that, I'm not really a gambling kind of person, and I think you have to like really love gambling and kind of it'd be different if I was there with a bunch of friends, but I always do that trade show on my own. So it's really boring on your own. Like hanging out in a casino on your own, it's a bit tragic, isn't it? So I just go to a restaurant, get some food, go home. Actually, I did go to a comedy show. That was great. I went to the Tropicana, I think it's called, comedy store, and that was pretty funny actually. So I'm going to do that again. You're going
to do that this time?
Well, actually, I put it on LinkedIn, and what was really cool was quite a lot of people are going who I know.
Yeah,
and
so you might have some mates this time.
So there's going to be friends there, which is cool. So there's a party I've been invited to already, so that's cool. And yeah, there's a cool jiu-jitsu school out there, so I might get around in, which will be nice. Gonna get Adam at Factory BJJ to hook me up. That'll be cool. So we're going to be at CES. We're going to be showing some scooters, and we're going to have our connected scooters there. So that leads us on to talking about Linka. I'll talk about Linka. So Linka are actually based over in America. They are in Oakland, founded by an amazing guy called Mohammed, and he invented this idea of a smart lock some years ago, and we met these guys at the Paris show, so Autonomy, that we recently exhibited at. You might have seen the video, which is another kind of micromobility show, and we then got some of their locks. And what's really cool is that they have an IoT device inside, which is basically just like a way of connecting the lock to the cloud. And they have a really cool app, and you can unlock, track, and basically share the scooter. So it does everything that we have been saying we want to do in our latest video for the crowdfunding campaign, which you might have seen on the Seedrs platform, which, by the way, is fully funded, which is cool and exciting. So we will be showing the scooters at that show connected and being able to be unlocked, tracked, and shared using the app. So that's pretty exciting to be there to show that tech.
Yep.
And we've got some meetings lined up with people from pretty big companies who would be interested in a large fleet of scooters for the US. So Swifty could be landing in a big way in the US quite soon.
So basically this is for private fleets, isn't it?
For corporate mobility,
Corporate mobility.
Yep.
And for once, it's a really good scooter.
Yeah, exactly. So a docked solution. So you might have already seen some images of our docked scooters. It'll be similar to that, but a little bit more chunkier and bigger for permanent outside use. So it's pretty exciting to go there and show the scooters and talk to these potential customers.
And it doesn't have to be electric either.
No, it doesn't have to be electric.
So we can use the IoT device on the kick scooters as well, which means anyone who wants to kind of help people get more active, or staff get a bit more exercise at work or on the commute, they can also use the kick scooters. That's actually a big part of our company, I think, because a lot of people, they know about electric scooter fleets, but not so much about the kick scooter fleets. And
that's right.
Most large companies now have people trying to boost productivity through more physical activity, well-being, all that sort of stuff. So
they're
had a really good response on
health and well-being executives.
Officers.
I can't think of the right word. So we've also had recently some really positive meetings with some major airports, which is cool, and that is ongoing. But it looks really promising, and we're going to try our best to make sure that we cater to their needs. So the idea of being able to offer both active and electric is good, because as you've just said, the whole health and well-being checkbox can be ticked. And just like that customer who we talked about before, if you're not very well and you're coming back from an injury or an illness, your employer providing a solution that enables you to be a bit more active at at work, can only be a good thing.
Yeah.
So it'll be really cool to go and pitch to the US customer base.
And that's the difference,
concept.
isn't it, between Swifty and the other fleet operators, is that we can cater for anyone's requirements, isn't it?
That's right. Well, we very much prefer to do that rather than having a product that is kind of off the shelf, one shoe fits all.
Yeah, I think the public fleets are very price driven, aren't they? Because it's very competitive, and the public want cheap journeys.
Yeah, and I think they are the way they are because they have to cater for a very wide and large array of needs. They're super heavy because you don't want them to be vandalized. You don't want them to be picked up and thrown around. They also super heavy because they need to be charged and run all day. So it's a real workhorse.
Yeah.
Our customers and our potential customers have a different remit and requirement, and we want to make sure that we put the rider experience at the heart of everything that we do, the user experience at the heart of everything that we do, and make it just a pleasant, pleasurable thing to partake in. Yeah. And if you're able to deliver that, then that's kind of like the only way you can compete against a price-driven model, where it's a race to the bottom in terms of price to give the most value.
Yeah.
So then you're able.
Rider experience.
Yeah, I mean, if it costs
bespoke.
If it costs £1 and it gets you from A to B, but it's no frills, then so be it. But if it costs you, 5 times that much, but you have a way better experience, well, then there is a proportion of the demographic who are willing to accept that cost. And what's great is that there are millions of people that are experiencing journeys through the different platforms like Bird and Lime, who are being educated into the experience. But then when a more premium version comes along, they might go, well, you know what, I might take that today.
I think we talk more about the comparisons between Swifty and Lime in podcast episode 8.
Well, remember, you know the numbers.
I was just listening to it.
Oh. Yeah, I don't
just
listen
double checking what I said.
Oh, right, okay. I don't really listen to them anymore.
If you want to hear more about that, go to episode 8.
Episode 8 it is.
Hopefully quite insightful.
So after CES in January, we're then going to be, in March, we're then going to be at Taipei Bike Show. And Taipei Bike Show is going to be awesome because we're going to be showcasing our new electric scooter, which we're not going to say too much about, but it's been a long road to develop this product, and it's amazing. No one's done anything like this before because that's what we do at Swifty, as you all know. And I'm very excited to show everybody because it is really something special and spectacular. And the riding experience is epic. So we'll be, fingers crossed, if we can hit the target deadline on time. And our team is working really hard to deliver this. We can have a physical sample that you can ride. 2020,
new decade, new scooter.
Oh yeah, new decade, new scooter. Wow. What about Seedrs? We should just recap about Seedrs.
Yeah.
So that's not it yet. So if you don't know, we have been crowdfunding the next evolution of Swifty, and that's to launch the Swifty app and our connected, active and electric scooters. And we've been crowdfunding to raise super capital to be able to do that in return for equity. So you can own your own very little chunk or very big chunk of the Swifty Scooters company if you back the campaign. I'm very happy to say that it is 100% funded. It was a hard slog to get there, but an exciting, scary, nervous time. But we are fully funded now, and you can still invest. I think there's something like 30 more days that we're keeping it open for, and we're really pleased that people customers, colleagues, friends have backed us.
Massive thank you for everyone who's supported us. It really means a lot. And also, it's good to just report back and say the plan is going really well, isn't it? Because we've made loads of advancements on the project. So that's all really exciting. We can't wait to share it with you guys.
Yeah, we're going to make a video soon of the how the connected scooters work, and we'll show you the app we'll make a video of how it works. And actually, that's a really cool thing to mention is so I've been scooting around doing trips on the connected scooter, and the app tells you how many grams of CO2 you've saved by taking that journey.
By swapping from a car to a scooter.
Yeah. So it shows you how many grams you're saving, and that's really cool feedback. You know,
yeah.
I racked up like a kilo of CO2 equivalent of on one journey, which is quite far. It's about 16 kilometers. But it was really cool to see. It's like, wow, look,
it's really cool to see. And really surprising how much.
Yeah.
It really just hits home how much a car pollutes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everybody understands.
Having it in front of you.
Yeah, everyone kind of understands, like, you know, a kilo of sugar is like a kilo, and that feels quite a lot, doesn't it? And I'm sure it doesn't anywhere near equate. I really need to figure out the metrics behind it. And I'll just caveat this by saying that it's through the Linka platform that we're able to get this data and the way that they crunch it and analyze it. So we'll go deeper into that and figure out, you know, how accurate it is, et cetera. But just having that feedback is really cool. It makes you feel positive, and it gives you a bit of a, oh yeah, great, feel good about it. So yeah, you're right. We've made a great deal of progress on the project, even though we've not closed the round yet. And I'm really excited because it means that some of the funds that we had allocated to developing some of the front end and the back end and the hardware, we can put elsewhere, and they can be better well spent because we're working with this new company now. So really great progress, and it means we can get going sooner next year and offer our potential customers a solution quicker, which is awesome.
Yeah, really awesome.
So Seedrs has gone really well. We've been really pleased. Just to reiterate what Camilla said, yeah, thanks for supporting us. It's really, really humbling to see. It's nice for us also to give our community the opportunity to be more closely involved, because, you know, we are a husband and wife team founder of a company, and I know a lot of people, when they buy into our products and they become a customer, they do feel like they already, because they own a scooter, they already feel very close to the company. So it's nice to be able to offer that to people to feel even closer. And so I think we're going to do some cool stuff this year with the shareholders that have jumped on board. We've not quite figured it out, but we'll do some events and get people together and get them even closer in the process of what we do here, and that can help us as well, and we'll be stronger.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that's everything. So you can end it there.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.